Most men walk through the world trying to be loud. They think that to be noticed, they must be seen. They think that to be desired, they must perform. They wear the watches, they drive the cars. They recite the lines they read in some pick-up manual, and they wonder why at the end of the night the connection feels like sand slipping through their fingers. They don't understand that a woman's attraction isn't triggered by what you broadcast. It's triggered by what you hold back. If you want to be irresistible, you have to stop trying to be enough and start being essential. Today, we aren't talking about the surface. We are into the shadows. We are talking about the 5 unseen habits, the psychological ghosts that haunt a woman's mind long after you've left the room. These are the habits that create an ache, not a physical ache, though that follows, but a soul deep curiosity that she cannot turn off. The first habit is the sovereignty of space. Have you ever noticed how a man who is insecure tries to fill every silence? He's terrified that if there is a gap in the conversation, the woman will realize he isn't interesting. So he talks, he explains. He fills the air with nothing. But the irresistible man, he owns the silence. He treats silence like a luxury fabric he's wrapped himself in. When you are with a woman and the conversation pauses, I want you to look at her, not with a creepy stare, but with a calm, heavy presence. Don't look away. Don't fidget with your phone. Just exist. In that silence, she begins to feel her own heartbeat. She begins to feel the tension between your bodies. By not rushing to fill the void, you are telling her subconscious, I am comfortable in my own skin. I don't need your approval. I am the mountain and you are the wind. There is something deeply sexual about a man who can handle a long pause while looking a woman in the eyes. It signals that he can handle the intensity of intimacy. If you can't handle a quiet moment at dinner, how can she trust you to handle her when things get heated? When the clothes come off and the words stop, all that's left is presence. If you don't have it now, you won't have it then. This habit of holding space is the first step in making her crave your energy. The second habit is the precision of observation. Women are used to being looked at. They are not used to being seen. Most men compliment a woman on her beauty, her dress, or her hair. It's white noise to her. She's heard it 1,000 times from men who want something from her. But the irresistible man, he notices the things she hasn't even noticed about herself yet. He notices the way her voice shifts when she talks about her childhood dream. He notices the subtle way she clenches her jaw when she's nervous, or the way her eyes light up, not when she's talking, but when she's listening to something she loves. When you point these things out, not as a compliment, but as an observation, it bypasses her logic. It goes straight to her heart. You might say, I noticed that when you talk about your work, you use your hands more. You're more passionate than you let on, aren't you? In that moment, she feels a chill. Why? Because you've entered her inner sanctum, you've shown her that you are paying attention to the essence of her, not just the utility of her. It creates a feeling of being known. And for a woman, being truly known by a masculine, grounded man is an intoxicating experience. It creates an immediate sexual tension because it feels like you are already touching her soul before you've even touched her hand. Now, let's talk about the third habit, and this is where most men fail. It is the habit of emotional non-reactively. In my coaching, I see this constantly. A woman tests a man, she's moody or she's late, or she says something slightly provocative to see how he reacts. The average man gets defensive, he gets angry, or worse, he gets pleasing. He apologizes for things he didn't do. The irresistible man, he is a rock in a storm. When she tries to pull you off your center and you simply smile a genuine, calm smile and say, you seem like you're having a day. Why don't you take a breath and tell me what's actually bothering you? You have won. You haven't won a fight, you've won her respect. A woman's attraction is tied to her feeling of safety. If your emotions are tied to hers, if you get upset because she's upset, then you are just another child she has to manage. But if you remain steady while she is chaotic, she realizes she can finally let go. She can surrender her control because she's found a man who is stronger than her moods. There is nothing more seductive than a man who cannot be rattled. It makes a woman want to push your boundaries just to see how far she can go. And when she hits that wall of your calm, she feels a wave of relief. She thinks, finally, a man who can lead me. Part 2, the sensory anchor and the architecture of desire. Let's go deeper. We've talked about the silence and the observation, but now we must talk about the physical reality of your presence. The fourth habit is what I call the sensory anchor. Most men are ghosts in a room. They move through space without leaving a footprint. But the man who is irresistible understands that attraction is a full body experience. It isn't just about what she sees, it's about what she breathes, what she feels when your sleeve brushes her arm. the way the air density changes when you step closer. The habit of the sensory anchor is the deliberate cultivation of your physical atmosphere. It starts with scent, not the cheap synthetic clouds of a high school locker room, but a scent that is intimate, a scent that requires her to be within 6 inches of your neck to truly understand it. When a woman smells a man who smells like wood, leather, and skin, not like a department store, it triggers the limbic system. It bypasses her no and speaks to her wise. It tells her you are a biological match. Imagine you're sitting next to her. You aren't touching her yet, but you are close enough that she can feel the heat radiating off your body. The habit here is controlled proximity. Most men either stay too far away, showing fear, or they crowd her, showing desperation. The irresistible man finds the edge. He sits just a fraction closer than is polite. He lets his hand rest near hers, but he doesn't grab it. He creates a vacuum of tension. He waits for her to lean in, and when she does, he doesn't jump. He stays still. He becomes the anchor. In that moment, her body is screaming for the touch to be completed. You are teaching her that you are the source of the tension, and only you can provide the release. This is the foundation of sexual desire, the building and withholding of energy. If you give it all away at once, the game is over. But if you hold it, if you let that tension simmer until it's almost unbearable, she will do anything to break it. Now, let us move to the 5th habit, which is perhaps the most misunderstood. It is the mystery of the mission in our modern world. Men have been told that to be a good partner, they must make the woman the center of their universe. They check their phones every 5 minutes. They are available for every call, every text. Nothing kills desire faster than a man who is too available. The irresistible man has a habit of prioritizing his purpose over his pleasure. He has a mission, a career, a craft, a physical goal, a mountain to climb that existed before she arrived and will exist if she leaves. This isn't about being or busy for the sake of a game. It's about being occupied. When a woman realizes that she cannot fully possess you because a part of your mind is always dedicated to your work, she doesn't get angry, she gets obsessed. She wants to be the one who finally makes you look away from the world. She wants to be the prize that is worth pausing your mission for. Think about the way you talk about your goals. Don't brag. Don't explain the mechanics. Talk about the feeling of the struggle. Talk about why you want to build what you're building. When a woman sees a man who is driven by an internal flame, she wants to warm herself by it. She wants to be the one who supports that flame. This creates a psychological push and pull. When you are with her, you are 100% present. The first 3 habits ensure that. You look at her, you hear her, you feel her. But when you are gone, you are gone. You don't text her good morning and good night every single day like a clock. You leave her in the silence. You let her wonder where you are, what you're doing, and who you're becoming. In that silence, her imagination does the work for you. She starts to picture you. She starts to feel that ache we talked about. She starts to project her own desires onto you. By the time you see her again, the tension has built to a fever pitch. You haven't done anything sexual, yet she is already halfway to surrender. These 5 habits: space, observation, non-reactivity, the sensory anchor, and the mission, they form a circle. They create a man who is not just attractive, but someone who is a force of nature. We've built the house, haven't we? We've built the walls of silence and the roof of your mission. But now we need to talk about the electricity running through the wires. We need to talk about the habits that happen in the milliseconds, the things her eyes catch before her brain can process them. This is the habit of kinetic intent. Most men move with a jerky, nervous energy. They reach for the drink too fast. They turn their heads too quickly when someone calls their name. It's prey energy. It's the energy of someone who is scanning for threats or seeking approval. But the man who is irresistible, he moves like he's underwater. Or better yet, he moves like a predator who knows he's already won. The habit of slow, deliberate movement is a direct signal to a woman's nervous system. When you turn your head to look at her, do it slowly. Let your eyes land on her first, then let your neck follow. When you reach for your glass, don't snatch it. Let your hand move with a steady, calm grace. Why does this matter? Because it signals certainty. A man who moves slowly is a man who is not afraid of being attacked. He is a man who is not in a rush to get anywhere because he is already exactly where he wants to be. To a woman, this is deeply, primarily sexual. It suggests a certain type of endurance. It suggests that in the bedroom, you won't be in a rush there either. You will take your time. You will appreciate the landscape of her body with that same steady, agonizingly slow intent. Now let's layer in the habit of the vocal sub-bass. Your voice is a tool. Most men talk from their throats. It's thin, it's airy, it's polite. But the irresistible man speaks from his diaphragm, from the seat of his power. This isn't about having a deep voice by birth. It's about the habit of breathing before you speak. When you speak to her, especially when you are close, I want you to lower your volume. Not a whisper, but a tone that forces her to lean in. When she leans in, she is entering your gravity, she is smelling your scent, she is feeling your heat. You are habituating her to come to you. And while she is there, in that close proximity, you practice the habit of the interruptive glance. Most men look at a woman's eyes while she talks. That's friendship, that's polite. The magnetic man, every once in a while, lets his gaze drop. Just for a second, he looks at her lips and then he looks back at her eyes. You don't say a word about it, you just do it. It's a habit of sexual marking in that 1 second drop of the eyes. You have told her exactly what you are thinking. You have broken the friendly spell and reminded her that you are a man and she is a woman. It creates a spike in her dopamine. It creates a physical flutter in her stomach. And because you go right back to the conversation as if nothing happened, it leaves her wondering if she imagined it. It builds the H. But we must speak of the habit that sustains all of this, the habit of the desired absence. We touched on the mission earlier, but this is deeper. This is the habit of being comfortable with her missing you. Many men, when they feel a woman pulling away or getting distracted, they lean in, they text more, they ask, "Is everything okay?" The irresistible man has the habit of the clean break, when the interaction is at its highest point, when you've just shared a laugh or a deep look or a moment of intense tension. That is when you leave. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Why would you leave when things are good? Because you want to leave her with a cliffhanger. If you stay until the conversation dies and you're both tired, the memory of you is flat. But if you leave while the energy is peaking, she is left with a physical craving for more. She goes home and she replays that last look, that last word, that last scent. You become a ghost in her mind, a ghost she wants to catch. This is the secret to psychological dominance. It's not about being mean, it's about being rare. Most men are a commodity, they are everywhere, they are in her DMs, they are at her beck and call. But you are a rare resource, you are high value, you are limited edition. And the human brain is wired to desire what is scarce. Part 40, the masculine shadow and the gravity of unspoken power. We have established your presence, we have established your silence, but now we must walk into the room that most men are afraid to enter. We must talk about the habit of the masculine shadow. You see, society spends a lot of time telling men to be nice, to be soft, to be agreeable. And while kindness is a virtue, niceness is often just a mask for cowardice. A woman isn't truly viscerally attracted to a man who can't be dangerous. She is attracted to a man who could be dangerous, but has the absolute discipline to keep it under control. This is the shadow. It's the hint of fire behind the ice of your composure. The habit of the shadow is the refusal to self-explain. When you make a decision, when you set a boundary, or even when you choose a direction for the evening, do not explain your why, unless it is absolutely necessary. Explanation is a form of seeking permission. When you explain yourself too much, you are essentially saying, "Is this okay with you? Am I doing it right?" The irresistible man simply acts. He moves with a quiet, shadowed authority. If she asks why you're taking a certain route or why you're choosing a certain wine, you don't give her a lecture, you give her a half smile and say, "Because I like it." That's it. That lack of explanation creates a dark space in your persona. It makes her wonder what else you know that you aren't saying. It makes her wonder what else you are capable of. It creates a vacuum of mystery that her feminine imagination will fill with her own desires. She begins to project a bad boy image onto your good man foundation. You become a paradox. And a paradox is a puzzle that a woman will spend her whole life trying to solve. Connected to this is the habit of the unflinching gaze. This is a micro habit that separates the boys from the men. Most men, when they accidentally catch a woman's eye in a hallway or across a bar, will look away immediately. It's a submissive reflex. The magnetic man has the habit, the 1 second hold. When your eyes meet hers, do not look away first. Hold it for just 1 second longer than is comfortable. Let your eyes say, "I see you, and I am not intimidated by your beauty." Then and only then, you slowly remember our habit of slowness. You slowly look away or continue your path. That 1 second is a lifetime in the world of attraction. In that second, she feels a jolt of electricity. She feels claimed without a single word being spoken. You have signaled that you are a predator of high intent, but one with the grace of a king. It creates a kinetic pulse in her body that she can't explain, but she will certainly feel. Now, let's talk about the 5th unseen habit, the habit of emotional self-sourcing. Most men are emotional vampires. They enter a relationship looking for the woman to provide the excitement, the validation, the spark. They are hungry, and hunger is not attractive. The irresistible man is a source. He has a habit of generating his own state of mind. He doesn't wait for her to be in a good mood so he can be in a good mood. He brings the mood with him. He is the sun and she is the planet that orbits him. If he is feeling playful, he is playful. If he is feeling intense, he is intense. When you stop looking to her to see how you should feel, something miraculous happens. She stops feeling the pressure to perform for you. She feels she can finally relax into your energy. She can be the flower because you are the ground. Imagine the power of a man who can walk into a room, see a woman who is being difficult or cold, and instead of getting upset, he just stays in his own joy. He laughs, he talks to others, he enjoys his drink. He doesn't let her coldness touch his warmth. Do you know what that does to her? It drives her wild. It makes her realize that her weapons don't work on you. And when her weapons don't work, she has no choice but to use her charms. She has to win you over. The roles have flipped. You are no longer the one chasing her shadow. She is the one trying to step into your light. And finally, we arrive at the most potent habit of all. It is the one that ties every other thread together. It is the habit of the unattached outcome. Most men fail because they are too loud with their needs. They are desperate for the phone to buzz, for the date to end in a certain way, for the woman to validate their existence. But the man who is truly irresistible, the man who haunts her thoughts, is the man who can walk away at any moment without his soul breaking. The ultimate paradox: to be truly desired, you must be truly willing to lose. When you sit across from a woman and you are 100% present, 100% attentive, and yet 100% prepared to never see her again if she does not meet your standard, that is when you become a force of nature in her eyes. It creates a vacuum of respect. She feels that you aren't there because you need her, but because you chose her. And there is no greater aphrodisiac for the feminine soul than being chosen by a man who needs nothing. Cultivate these habits, not for her, not to win a game. Cultivate them for yourself, build your silence, sharpen your observation, master your reactivity, become a sensory anchor, and never ever let go of your mission. When you do this, you aren't just a man seeking a woman. You become a destination. You become the fire that she wants to be warmed by, the mystery she wants to solve, and the strength she finally feels safe enough to surrender to. If you've listened this far, you are already ahead of 99% of the men out there. You are choosing the path of depth over the path of the surface, but understanding these habits is only the beginning. Embodying them is the work of a lifetime. If you want to dive deeper into this psychological landscape and reclaim your own authority, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next session. I want you to leave a comment below with the word presence. It is a signal to yourself that you are taking ownership of your space and your desires from this moment forward. Remember, the world does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. Go out there and become irresistible. I'll see you in the next one. Stay aware.